All right, so our goal today is to talk a little bit about how we're using Canvas and how to develop a Canvas course from scratch with a minimum of stress, a minimum of fuss. And so I guess the first thing to do is talk a little bit about what Canvas is. Canvas is a learning management system. It's a place where we can um, put curriculum, take assignments from students, give quizzes, tests back and forth, offer some online discussion. I believe it's probably, here, let me see if I can switch to a cam. There it is. I'm here. I think it's probably the most complete learning management system that is available to us currently. And we have it available in the district, and I think we're very fortunate. One of the things that it allows us to do is to create an environment where anything that you need to do in your course can be done within the course. So it's very, very few times do you have to actually leave the course to go to another page. And sometimes that can be problematic when you get students involved in your course and they have to leave to go to another web page. It oftentimes can cause bird walking or distractions and create issues with focus. So, and we want to try to eliminate that as much as possible. Getting onto Canvas, we have at our district, we have integrated the login to get onto Canvas so that all one needs to do to get onto our Canvas is to make sure that they're logged into their school email account or their school Google account. And Canvas, I might bring this up too. Canvas is a little like it's a program. So I've had many people go on and Google Canvas and then try to log into a random Canvas program out there somewhere. Everybody's got their own Canvas program. So it's kind of like, if you're logging on to, I don't know, Microsoft Word or something. Everybody's got their own program for Microsoft Word. So you can't just Google any random Canvas program and log in. It has to be the program that, that we have installed at our district. So now when we go to Canvas, only thing that you need to do first is make sure you're logged into your school account, to your SWSD 101 account. And to do that, let me see if we can get back to our screen here. There we go. To do that, of course, we're going to go to google.com. Now, when you see this, I some interesting stuff here. My phone, when I said the G word, my phone tried to talk to me. If you're on this page and you see this page with all of these icons at the bottom, this is a splash page. This page is not on the internet. This page exists on your computer. So when you see this, and sometimes if we're having connection issues, you'll see this, but then you try to go to a web page and you don't understand why you can't get to the web page. Well, that's because you're not online here, so your computer's probably not online. So you want to make sure to go to google.com right here in the upper right hand corner. Now I've chosen the dark theme for mine. You guys might not have this dark theme, but I thought it was pretty cool. Up in the upper right hand corner, you may see a sign in button. If you do, you click there and you sign into your Google account. Once you're signed in, I've got a profile pic up here, but you might have just your initial up here in the corner, but that way you'll know you're signed in. Now, when we're dealing with our district as well, another thing you want to make sure of is that you're signed into your browser. Now, see right here, I'm signed into Google. This little icon tells me I'm signed into Google. But this icon up here, you see this one? This one tells me I'm signed into my browser. When you sign in, you'll be asked if you want to link your data and sync your account. And I'm going to say, yes, you want to do that, because that's going to make sure that you get all of the extensions and add-ons that we've done at the district level get pushed to your account. So no matter what computer you're on, you will be able to get all of the add-ons and plugins that we use at the district. So once you're there, I'm going to close out that little tab there. Once you're logged in, you're going to go to our Canvas program. Now, if you're logged in and you're synced, you'll get all kinds of bookmarks and stuff pop up, as well as all of these add-ons. And if you look right here, there will be a folder with some bookmarks, and your link to Canvas is right there, right? It's also available on the district website. You can go to the district website and get on Canvas there. There's several places you can get on Canvas. So what we want to do first off is we want to go to Canvas. Boom. Now you'll notice up here the address, if you're going to type the address, is swsd.instructure.com. Instructure is the company that that makes and manages Canvas. All right. So you go to instructure.com and you will land in your dashboard. All right. And a couple of the things that you want to do just to get started to make sure that your housekeeping is done is you want to go up here to the upper left-hand corner, and you'll see your little icon right there, which is like, that's your profile icon. And you want to go to settings. See right there, settings. All right. Oops. I got these little Zoom programs shoved in here, and sometimes I miss the key. So if I'm going to go to here, and I'm going to go to settings. And you want to scroll down just to get started. If you've never been in Canvas before, especially if you've not been in Canvas before here with us, you want to go here to where it says Web Services. And you're going to look at registered services and other services. Make sure your Google Drive is under the registered services heading here. All right. Now, if it's the first time you're in Canvas, and more importantly, if it's the first time your students are in Canvas, then you may find that their Google Drive is over here under this other services. And if it is, you want to make sure to tell them to click it. And when they click it, it's going to go through a series of questions to make, do you want to allow this account? Do you want to link this account? And you want to just tell them answer yes to all of those. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow Canvas to talk to their Google Drive so they can hand things in from Google Drive, and it'll make their life a lot easier. All right, so that's an important thing to do there. The other thing that you might want to do, and you can walk your students through this as well, is the notifications right here. Let me see here. See where it says notifications? If you click notifications, you're going to be able to go through all of the things that happen in Canvas. And how do you want to be notified when that thing occurs? Now, personally, I don't want to get a notification every time somebody turns something in on Canvas. That makes me a little crazy. So I'm not going to want it to. I'm not going to want it to send me an email or send me a Twitter every time I get something. So I will usually opt for a summary at the end of the day. And if you notice, if you click this little thing with a bell with a line through, says I'm not going to get any notifications, but I have an option. Do I want to get a daily summary, a weekly summary? I usually choose a daily summary. That sends me an email at the end of the day and kind of gives me a recap of everything that happened on Canvas while I was gone. So it's a nice way to kind of get notified, but you're not going to get an email every time somebody turns something in. You may want to. Now your announcements, see right here, announcements come out. If I get a global announcement go out, I want to be notified immediately, because announcements, and we'll talk about those a little bit. I know a lot of teachers were using announcements for just like regular communication with your students, telling them what you're going to do for the day. And I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing, but I don't think it's the best use of announcements. I think if you give them messages what they're going to do on a particular day, that probably should be in the module itself. But if you're using announcements, that's usually there's something that's important that they need to get notified of right away. So that's the way I treat them. So And we'll talk about the rest of this stuff at a later date, but that's right now what's most important is you want to check out notifications. Make sure that you're not getting notified every moment of something. That can get really annoying. And make sure that your Google Drive is linked to your Canvas instance. So now let's talk a little bit about the navigation in the program itself. Okay. This navigation in the gray area here, we tend to call this global navigation. This is navigation that is within your entire Canvas program. All right. So your dashboard is shortcuts. There's to all your courses, the groups you belong to in Calendar. All of those things are global navigation. Any navigation that you see in the white area, like when you start a course, when you open a course, this navigation we call course navigation. So this is to get around within a course. This is to get around within the entire Canvas program. All right, so let's talk about the navigation on the left-hand side here. Your dashboard, this one right here, think about this as a page of shortcuts. All right, so this is where you're going to put shortcuts to your Canvas courses. And you can decide what courses you want to be on your shortcut page. The way you decide that is you go here to your courses, and then you want to click on all courses. And it'll take you to all of your courses, whether they're concluded or closed out, or whether they're still active. All your courses will be here. Now, you'll notice these little stars here. If you click a star and you color in a star, then when you go back to your, let's see, I just clicked the Google Drive and Docs right there. When you go back to your dashboard, it's going to pop up in your dashboard. The shortcut is going to be there. If you remove the little star, then it's no longer going to be in your dashboard. So this is primarily just a shortcut page. Now, the weird thing about this is if you don't click any of the stars, if they're all unchecked, everything will show up in the dashboard. So if it's your first time in Canvas and you've had a whole bunch of classes assigned to you, that it's gonna get a little overwhelming because everything will be in the dashboard. All right. So groups you belong to, we'll talk about that at a later date. But calendar, this is pretty important because your calendar allows you to keep a one-stop view of everything that's due in every single class, right? So it's kind of a nice place. Now, it's separate from your Google Calendar, your work calendar, but it is a nice place to be able to see all of those things that are going on within your Canvas program. Also, when you create an assignment and you give it to a student, and you put a due date on it, that due date shows up on their calendar. It's an automatic, so they can look at their calendar and get a really good view of when things are going to be due. So I think this is a really, really good thing for you to show your students how to use. Now, their homepage too, when they go to their, I'm back up to the dashboard. I can also view my calendar from here, right? And let's see. Boom, it takes me straight to my calendar from there, right? So they should be able to get it from their dashboard and see all of their due dates. Inbox, if there's any communication coming straight to you. And recent history, so you'll see what you've recently done. Okay. So that's, a couple more things. I should touch on these right now. We'll go into these in a little more detail later because these are pretty important as well. This is the link to go to Canvas Commons. And let's go ahead and click on it here. Canvas Commons is a place where teachers share things that they have created in Canvas. And they put them out there for you to use. If you would like to use them, you are welcome to use them. They've made them public to those people who work within Canvas. Note that these teachers are, well, they're a lot like you and I. So some of the stuff that they create is amazing, is just awesome, right? It's fantastic stuff. Some of it's not so fantastic. I mean, some of it is marginal, you know. So you want to make sure and just look at stuff before you import it. But you can look through here, and we'll probably I'll do another video on how to import things from the Commons, because this is a really hip place to go look for ideas. And what I do many times is I create a course in my Canvas program that's just nobody's enrolled in it. I just create it so that I can take some of these things and import them into that course, and I can take a look at them, and then I delete them. So that's the Commons. Really, really neat place to go look for stuff. The last thing here I want to talk about in the global navigation on the left-hand side is this question mark. This is a big deal also. If you click the question mark, it's a help guide. And one of the most useful things that I found in this help guide is this right here. Search the Canvas guides right under the panda, right? Try this first. Search the Canvas guides. And from here, my favorite link, you can go through, there's some training here, getting started, basics, troubleshooting, but this is my favorite link right here, is the video guide. I'm a video learner. I learn everything that I do from video. So what they've done is they put together some amazing tutorials here on video that really cover everything that you might think you have a problem with in Canvas. And they've broken it up into, you don't have to pay any attention to this administrator stuff, but look at all the instructor videos, how to do announcements, how to work on calendar, how to do chat, conferences, because you can do conferences within Canvas as well, course creation. I mean, it's great stuff. And they really do a good job. Their videos are very, very good. And so when you have some time, I would recommend that you at least find where this is and find where this page is, so that you know where to go to start doing some research. And I got to tell you, if you go to social networks or YouTube has amazing videos about how to run Canvas. There's a bunch of teachers out there doing great jobs putting together tutorials for Canvas. Also, if you're on Facebook, there's a Facebook Canvas LMS group that you can join, and their Canvas is constantly doing live stream videos and things of that nature that you can drop in on and catch some quick hints. It's pretty cool. All right. So let's see here. We're going to go back to the dashboard. And let's talk about creating a course now. We're gonna create a course from scratch. Now, if you're a teacher in our district, all of our courses are created by our student information system, which is Skyward. So all of our courses are pre-made by Skyward, and all of your students are pre-populated into those courses. So you don't need to enroll students in your courses. They're already there. If there is a problem, if a student does not show up in your Canvas course, I have found in my experience that 99% of the time, the problem is not with Canvas. The problem is with Skyward. The student for somehow is entered with an error in Skyward, and so it didn't get transferred. That student didn't get transferred to Canvas. But if you end up with a student that's not in Canvas like this should be, please contact me, and I'd be happy to help you. So here's our course, and we're we're going to talk about starting a course from scratch. And what we want to do is we want to talk about the four. I believe when I'm first starting out, this helps me understand. There are four major parts in creating a Canvas course. All right. Four major parts. And this is probably where you want to grab a pen and write these down and commit them to memory. It'll make your life so much easier when you're trying to put something together. The first part of a course that we want to talk about, we call a page, right? Now, a page is simply a place where you want students to look and read a thing or watch a video. They're going to look at a page and they're going to get content that you have put on the page for them. You're not on a page, you're not asking for anything back from them. Everything is, you just put it on the page and you want them to absorb it. Okay? It's an informational page. So they're called pages. That is the first piece. Part number 2 is one thing. We would call them assignments. An assignment, as far as Canvas, and these are terms as far as Canvas uses. So we're going to find that there are some crossover terms that cause a little confusion down the road. For these, just an assignment is where you want a student to read some instructions. You want them to go away and make something, create something. You want them to bring it back and give it to you. The difference between a page and an assignment is that on an assignment, you're asking for something back from them. On a page, you're not asking for anything back from them. You're simply asking for them to read it or watch it, right? An assignment, you're asking them to go away, make something, bring it back, and give it to you. All right, so that's the second element. The third element we call quizzes. A quiz is where you want a student to type answers to questions in little boxes on the screen. The difference between an assignment and a quiz is a quiz, the student does not leave and bring you back something and turn it in. On a quiz, the student answers questions that you have posed and types into little windows on the screen. Now, of course, these are very simplistic descriptions of what these items are, but I think for the most part, it'll help you to understand that. All right, so just to recap the first three. A page, you're going to give the student something and not ask for anything back. They're just going to read it. They're going to watch it. They're going to get something from it. An assignment is they're going to read the instructions. They're going to go away. They're going to make something. They're going to bring it back to you. And you're going to give them feedback on it. And then a quiz, we want them to read questions and type answers into little boxes on the screen. Now, a quiz doesn't necessarily have to be a quiz. It can just be a survey. It can be a graded or non-graded interaction. You can give a quiz that has no grade. You're just looking for feedback. All right. So that's the first three elements when we're learning how to put together a Canvas course. And then the fourth element is a thing called a module. Now, all a module is a box to put the other three things in. Modules allow you to group items into, you might think of them as units. It allows you as the instructor to control the sequence of instruction. It allows you to control what order your students see these things in. It gives you some control about when you open them for student access. You can close down modules or you can actually give modules prerequisites where I have to finish module 3 before I can go on to module 4. So there's some control. But modules aren't anything except placeholders. They're boxes that everything else goes into. You can put an item in more than one module. For instance, if there were some instructions that you wanted to start every week on, you might just put that same item in every single module as the first item. It doesn't have to be a new item. You can go into any module. Now, let's talk briefly about how to organize your modules. I have tried several different ways to organize modules. I tried to put them in units, fields of study, and I have found that the most effective method, I believe, and this whole time together, all you're really getting is my opinion, so take that for what it's worth. I believe that the best way to use modules is to make them, at least as far as our schools are concerned, is to make them weekly modules. So I'm going to create a module right now. I'm going to go to here, and I'm going to click on this plus module. You see this? So I've clicked on modules in my course navigation. I've gone up here to module, and I'm going to create a module. And let's see what the date is today. It's the 30th of September. And then, so let's say next week is I'm going to do a module starting on Monday. And Monday is going to be the 4th of October. So I'm going to go to my module name right here, and I'm going to go week of October 4. All right. And I'm going to add the module. And there it is. Module's right there. Now, why do I think that it's much more effective if we do modules by week? Is that if you have a student that missed a day, this way they know what you did, because it's in the weekly module. And even if you're doing projects that go over several weeks, and all of our courses were project based, and sometimes we had projects that would go a month, right? I would still create a weekly module for every week, even if you're just going to duplicate those things that were into the previous week. That way, it minimizes the confusion of your students. They know where to look for the information. They know where they need to go depending on what it is that they're looking for. They just go to the week they missed. All right. So now let's say here's my week. Here's my week of October 4th. It's my module. So now I'm going to say I want to put in this. I'm going to put a page. Very first thing, I'm going to put some information that I want my students to see. And so I'm going to create the first thing I want them to see in this module is an information page or a page. I can create pages a couple of different ways. I can go over here to pages, and I can click on pages. And I can go plus page. I can create a page from there. Or I can be in modules, and I can just go to this little plus sign that's just to the right here, and I can click that plus sign, and I can add an item, which is going to be a page, and I'm going to click on create page, and then I got to give it a name, right? So I'm going to call it, what do we call it here? Let's say welcome to October. Right. Now, this is where it says indent. This is simply a visual. So sometimes in a week you may have a couple of different units that you're covering, and you can set them up to look like an outline, right? So it just gives it a sense of order. So I'm going to click add item. There it is. There's our page. And we can tell it's a page because it's got a page icon right there. So I'm gonna click here, open the page, and this is the same way almost every one of these elements works in Canvas. I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna go here to where it says edit. I'm gonna click edit. It's gonna give me a rich text formatter here. and allow me to create an information page. I can type in, I can change the font, I can change the style of font, bold, italic, underline. I can change the color of the font. I can highlight colors. I can insert images. I can insert videos. I can record a video right here, right? I can insert anything from my Google Drive, from my Microsoft Office. So I create the image right here, right? I'm going to say, whatever it is here. I've given all kinds of good information here. And once I'm done, I can save. Now notice where it said save and publish. We'll talk about publishing in just a moment. But for the time being, let's just go through this. So there's our page, right? And if we go back to modules, there's our week of October 4 and our new module. Now let's say after the information page, I want them to do an assignment. I have an assignment I want for them. Again, I'm going to go right over here to the plus sign. I'm going to click on the plus sign. Assignment is the default, right? I'm going to create an assignment, give it a new name, and I'm going to say first assignment for October. Right? And I'm going to add the item. You'll notice it pops up under here. It still is our module. There's our page. Now you see the assignment has an assignment icon, which is a page with a little pencil on it. So we know that's an assignment. So I'm going to click on first assignment for October. Again, go to edit. I'm going to click on edit. And I'm going to tell it what I would like. Okay, so I would like for the students to go away and write down a Google document and turn it in to me. And for this, I'm going to give 10 points. Now, assignment group, we're going to talk about this at a later date. We're going to do a little video on how to link your Canvas course with Skyward so that you don't have to ever go to Skyward to enter grades. Canvas will do it all for you. But we're going to let that go for the time being because right now we're just talking about the basic elements. Display grade as, and a lot of times I would do complete, incomplete. It either met the prerequisite or it didn't. So you could do complete, incomplete. You could display points, letter grades. There's several options here. If you're doing an assignment that you don't want counted toward the final grade, you can click here. But again, let's be careful with this because our final grades are always on Skyward. They're not on Canvas. Submission time. Now here's where it gets important. Do you want them submitting something to you online? Like, do you want them turning in a Google document? That's what choose online. On paper is, yeah, I'm giving you the assignment online, but I want you to go away and write it on a piece of paper and give it to me. I'm going to grade it on paper, and then I'm going to physically go in and give you the grades manually, and you could choose that. Or external tool, and we'll talk about that later. This is great if you're doing like for instance, Google has a plagiarism checker that we do use through Canvas, and you could learn to do that. Excuse me, and that's an external tool, and we would use that there. But for the time being, let's just work on online, right? And what kind of online entry do we want? Well, normally we want them to give us a Google Doc or a Microsoft Word document, and so we're going to say file uploads. Now, we could restrict them to a certain kind of file, but we're not going to worry about that too much right now. How many attempts? I'm going to let them do it as many times as they want to try and get a better grade. Group assignments. This is if you're giving out assignments to a group of students and they're all doing one assignment per group of 5, and they're all getting the same grade. This is peer reviews. If you want the students to finish an assignment, hand it in, and then use one of your rubrics to grade another student's work. I think that's a great tool. We'll cover that at a later date. Now here's the assignment block. This is important. By default, it's assigned to everyone, and you can pick a due date here. So let's say we're going to pick a due date for the 5th, right? And it's assigned to everyone, and available from is a date that you put in, which will mean that the students will not see it until that date, And until means that when the until date hits, that assignment will disappear. Students will not have access to it. I would be careful with these two. If you are doing the available until date, that's great, but I would be careful not to put it like, available until the day that it's due. If you have students that need extra time because of IEP 504, if there's you want to make sure that that's available for a little while. I do tend to put the until date like at the last day of the semester on most of mine. Now, an interesting thing too is assigned to here, we can actually take this everyone out, and you can assign it to an individual student, or you can assign it just to a certain period. I'm going to take a little back step here. I'm going to take a little pause. We set Canvas up so that the courses are organized by course subject. But if you teach, say, 3 algebra classes, all 3 algebra classes are in the same Canvas course. It would be problematic if we put them all in a separate course, because you would have to recreate the same assignment for every course. This way, you've got 3 algebra courses. They're getting the same assignment. You only have to create it once. How do you differentiate between the different periods? There in Canvas, we're going to call them sections. And you'll notice if you go into your settings, and we'll look at it in a second here, go into settings and you look at the top of navigation at the top, you'll see a link for sections. And the sections is where your students are broken into periods. And so when you get to assign, and when you have a course, you'll actually have people assigned to your course. So you'll get some predictive text here that'll show you the different sections. So you may want to assign it just to a particular section, right? But everyone is the default, so it assigns to everyone. So once this is done, yep, great. I'm going to hit save. And there you go. So if we go back to module and take a look at it now, there we have module week, and there's our page, and there's our assignment ready to roll. Now I want to give a quiz. I'm going to end this week with a Friday quiz. I do the same thing. I go here to plus, click. I'm going to drop this down to quiz. I'm going to create a quiz, and I'm going to call it the Friday quiz. Boom. I'm going to add the item. Again, I'm going to click it. I'm going to go to edit. Here I get to give some quiz instructions. Gives me a couple of choices. What kind of quiz do I want to make? This is a graded quiz, practice quiz, graded survey, ungraded survey, right? I would make sure that if you're doing a quiz, I would always assign some sort of point value to it, even though you might not be counting that toward the final grade, because it makes grading, and we'll do another meeting on how to grade stuff, but it makes grading easier when there is a point value assigned to it. Now here's the important part too. This option right here, and I'm sorry we didn't cover it in the assignments section, but this is important right here. Sync to SIS. If you want these assignments and quizzes to be pushed up to Skyward, if you want the grades to be pushed up to Skyward, this has got to be checked. Okay. Do I want to shuffle the answers? If have them sitting in a place where they're going to be able to look over each other's shoulders, you might want to shuffle the answers. Do I want a time limit? You might want to, again, be careful with this, because, of course, if we have students that need accommodation, you don't want everybody getting the same time limit. Allow multiple attempts. I always allow multiple attempts, and I keep the highest score. Let students see their quiz responses. Yeah, that's fine. You can choose to see them after every attempt, or you can only see the correct answers. Show one question at a time, so they have to click through each question on the screen. Access code would be if you want to create the quiz, you want to publish the quiz so the students can see it, but there has to be a code that you're going to give them in class. And that's, you can give a password then to get onto the quiz. If it's a quiz you need them to take at school, you don't want them to be able to go home and take this quiz. We do have the ability to filter IP addresses, and IP address is Internet Protocol address, I think it is. It's every machine clicked to a network has an IP address. Or I guess every machine clicked to the internet or any network. And so we can say filter the IP addresses so only students can take the students can only take this quiz if they're sitting at a computer at school. Stops them from taking it home. If you want to get into that, let me know. We can talk about it more. And then again, assign to, just like we did on the assignments. We can assign it to everyone. You can assign it to an individual student. You can assign it to a certain period. Due dates available to and available from. All right? And we save. Now, we're going to give it some questions. So we saved it, but we got to go back and edit because I didn't give it any questions. If we look up at the top here, here's questions for the quiz. I'm going to click on questions. I'm going to add new question. And it's got all of these different options that I can do for questions now. But look at all those, right? I can do multiple choice, true, false, fill in the blank, multiple blanks, multiple answers. And I recommend that you go through and take a look at all these and get an idea of what it is that meets your needs. I'm just going to do multiple choice for now because that's an easy way to explain. I don't think multiple choice tests are usually the best tests to do. They might be a great way for you to do some formative assessment, if you want to do like a Wednesday quiz so you can see how the students are doing. Multiple choice can be graded by the machine itself, but graded by the program, so it's really easy for you to take a quick look at it and see how they did. So here you have a question. I'm going to enter a question. Here are some answers, the correct answer there, and some possible answers here. This is kind of a cool thing too, because if you click this little box, this lets you add comments depending on the answer they choose. So if you've got a couple answers that are problematic, you can always put a comment in and say, it's not the right answer. I realize why you did this, but you might think of these other things. So it's a pretty cool way to add some nuance to your quizzes. And then you update the question, and there you go. And again, you save. All right, so we've got a quiz with some questions. And let's go back and take a look at the modules here real quick. Boom. So there we have it. There we have our modules for week of October 4. We've got an information page, we've got an assignment, and we've got a quiz. Right? I think that's a good place to probably bring it to an end. If you can set a goal for yourself, if you're just getting into this and you're kind of stressed out about it, set a goal for yourself that for next week I'm going to put together this little module that's going to have stuff to do, and I'm going to put my weekly curriculum on there, and I'm just going to do one little easy little module. I think that's a great way to start, so you don't have to stress out too much about it. I'll do another video on grading quizzes, but for right now, I think that's an easy way for you to get started. One other thing I want to cover before I let you go is in the course navigation. Notice that I said modules allow you to control the sequence of instruction. All right, and I've got a Friday quiz right here, and it's in this module. So I want students to see it after they've gone through this other stuff. But the navigation over here if they go to quizzes, they'll be able to see the Friday quiz right there, so they can jump right to it. Right. I want to make sure, I want to clean up my navigation here a little bit. And to do that, I'll show you how to do it. I'm going to go to Settings, and up here is Navigation. And here are all the navigation links that are currently available. I really don't want them to have anything much more than Home announcements modules. So I can either grab this here and I can drag it underneath here, or I can hit the three little dots and click disable, right? So they don't need to know that. They don't need analytics. Google Drive, I'm going to leave that there. It's a link to their Google Drive. They don't need this. There's modules. I don't want them having the quizzes link. I will give them rubrics in the modules. They don't need outcomes. The syllabus I can leave there. They might want to get the syllabus. Files, I will leave them links to files within the modules. I don't want them to be able to go directly to pages. They don't need people. Grades, I'm going to say that I'm going to disable grades because right now Skyward is our primary grading recording system. So I want them to put everything in Skyward. So I'm not going to put a grades link here. Discussions, no. Assignments, no. And I think that's it. So I'm going to move this up here to here. And that's what I want them to have. I want them to have home, announcements, modules, syllabus, and Google Drive. I'm going to put syllabus up here like that. So, all right. So that's it. That's all I want them to have. I'm going to scroll down here. I'm going to save. And you'll notice the little eyeballs with the line through it. That means students cannot see these links. Now, announcements they can't see simply because I don't have any announcements put in. That's why they can't see this now. All right, but they really cleaned it up. Now I can go back to the home page, and I can, I want to go to modules. And the last thing we're going to do is we need to publish this material if we want students to see it. Students can only see those things that are published. If it's not published, students can't see them. So if I go here to this circle with a line through it right here on this module, it's currently not published and nothing in the module is published. But if I publish the module, it's going to automatically publish everything in it. Let's see. Boom. Boom. So everything has a check mark on it. So this is all published now, right? Also, if I go to the home screen, we need to make sure that this is published. That's the whole course. The whole course needs to be published as well as everything in the course. If I want to know what it looks like to a student, I can go to Student View right here. Click here. Let's see what it looks like. All right, 3 assignment notifications. All right. We'll go to modules and see the navigation here. The students don't even see that other navigation. Keeps it nice and clean. And there's the module for October 4th. All of that right there. So that's how it looks when a student point of view. I can go to the lower right-hand corner here, and I can, oops, that didn't work well for me here. I can go to the lower right-hand corner. I can leave student view, and it'll take me back to my teacher view. All right. All right. So that's about 50 minutes of nonstop Canvas information. I think that should provide you with enough material to get started for the week. As I said, I got some more stuff to cover in future videos, and I'll make sure and do those so that you can get to them. But a minimum of stress is required. If you just take a little piece of it, say, okay, for next week, I'm going to develop a module that's going to have a page or a couple of pages of information I want them to read, maybe a video I want them to watch. It's going to have an assignment in it and maybe an assessment. So something that's nice and easy to go through. All right. I hope that helped. Please make sure and get in touch with me if you have any questions or problems, and I'd be happy to give you a hand, and have a wonderful week.